Hello students, today I am going to explain what is cavity wall. Cavity wall is a double wall consisting of two separate walls called skins or leaves of a masonry separated by an air space and joined together by a metal ties at a suitable interval. You can see in this figure, so this is called outer leaf, inner leaf, which consists two walls, separated walls, and also in between this wall there will be cavity. The walls should be connected with the help of metal ties, that is called cavity wall. So this can be used for the exterior wall and also interior walls, but usually they'll use for the exterior walls. So sometimes it is used as an interior wall due to good sound. Next, I'm going to explain about construction details. So the two leaves of a cavity wall may be equal to thickness if it is a non-load bearing wall, or the internal leaf may be thicker than the external leaf also you can provide to meet the structural requirement. The inner and outer skins of the wall adequately tied by the means of special ties, already I told. So you have to provide at least 5 ties per square meter of wall, and the cavity, whatever the spaces we are providing between the two walls, it should not be less than 40 mm nor more than 100 mm. To prevent the moisture to enter it, sometimes we will provide the damp proof course at the windows and door levels. The damp proof course should be flexible. So this is one video. Early cavity walls. I'll explain how to construct early cavity wall. The most wall comprise two half brick leaves. So this is a brick leaves. Two half brick leaves tied regular interval with the steel or wrought iron wall ties. External leaf of the brick was laid in the facing of the bricks, and internal leaf is common. A few early cavity walls had an external leaf 1 brick thick, and in some early forms of construction the DPC ran right across the cavity. So you can see here, this is the DPC they are provided, but in some cases it should be provided right across the cavity. DPC prevent rising dam, so which is commonly used by the early 19th. They could be made from the leaf, pitch, asphalt and slate. In 1900 years back, they used to start DPC just to prevent the rainwater enter into the cavity wall, because this is a hole, you can see cavity. What will happen? Dampness will occur during the rainy season, moisture will attack. So to avoid that, dampness proof will be provided to the cavity wall. So the wall ties mainly it will be used. Galvanized steel ties can be used, and you can see this is the different shapes of the wall ties. Next, according to the BIS regulation, building regulation, the building codes says that double wall is generally 265 mm or 275 mm thick, consisting of 1 or 2.5 mm inner and outer skin, 60 to 70 mm cavity. So this is for the mainly two-story domestic building. And for other, the inner leaf is increased to 215 mm or more in thickness when the heavier load or floors have to be supported. If you want to construct stone face building, the outer leaf is 103 to 206 mm. The inner leaf is 102.5 mm. The width of the cavity in between varies from 50 to 75 mm. Next, how to provide the concrete bed in a cavity at foundations. So the cavity extends right up to the base of the footing with a damp proof rose introduced just below the floor level. This is more common arrangement. You can see here, this is a concrete, then they are providing two leaves. This is a outer leaf and inner leaf. So up to the ground level, you can observe here, below the ground level it should be carefully constructed. If you not constructed carefully, water will enter into the joints, collect in cavity and travel through the inner leaf, and what will happen? Dampness in the flooring may happens. So this is a very important thing. You should take some remedies while constructing. So you can see DPC 150 mm. So what caring you should be taking? I'll say the remedies. The cavity between the top of the foundation concrete and the ground level will be filled 1:2:4 concrete at least 150 mm below the DPC. So to avoid the moisture or dampness. So you should provide 1:2:4 concrete at least 150 mm below the DPC, and separate DPC is provided for the both the leaves. You should not give single DPC, you should provide separate DPC for the both the leaves. And rainwater gain access to the cavity through the outer leaf, and collecting cavity may be drained off by the provision of narrow outlet and weep holes. So suppose if water will enter, so you should provide weep holes, proper weep holes below this, so rainwater will not enter. This is how we will construct cavity at foundation level. Next, position of the cavity at parapet level. So how to give the up to parapet level. So this is a cavity wall. You can see this is a cavity wall. In the case of flat roofs with a parapet, the cavity may extend either up to the bottom of the coping or up to a level slightly above the flat roof. When the cavity extends up to the bottom of the coping, DPC course is provided. You can see. So DPC is supported over the cavity. This is a coping stone throating projects clear of brickwork. Does not enter coping, and you have to provide DPC. Just what will happen, the rainwater will not enter into the cavity. When the cavity is terminated just above the flat roof, this is a cavity, when it is terminated, again one more DPC should be provided, one DPC for the wall and one DPC for the roof. So like this you should provide the cavity at the parapet level. So how to do the insulation in cavity wall? So you can see the clear cavity. This is a clear cavity. So 103 facing brick, 50 mm clear cavity, 100 mm aerated block, and 40 mm thermal bore should be provided. So 100 mm aerated block and 103 facing brick. So this is called clear cavity. If suppose filled cavity, 103 mm facing brick, 75 mm cavity bats should be provided. 100 mm aerated block, any plaster finish can be provided. Next, partial cavity, 103 mm facing brick, 25 mm cavity board, and 125 mm aerated, this is aerated block, any plaster finish can be provided. 15 solid cavity wall, 15 mm render, 215 mm aerated block, and 30 mm thermal board should be provided. This is a thermal board, this is the aerated block. Next, how to provide the wall ties. So already I told wall ties are mostly it is in mild steel, truly galvanized or dipped in hot tar and sanded to protect from the rust, and it should be sanded. Nowadays stainless steel should be used. So there are different patterns of wall ties are provided. So you can see below here. So this is a different types of wall ties are can be used for the cavity walls. The tie must be placed distant not exceeding 900 mm horizontal and 450 mm vertical and should be staggered. The tie must be placed at 300 mm vertical interval at all angles and doors and windows jambs to increase the stability. So weep holes, you can see here, this is a weep holes at the walls. So weep holes just to allow the air into cavity, and at foundation levels we are providing the rainwater should not be enter into the cavity. If rainwater enters, dampness will take place. So you can see sheathing paper also provided to protect the wall from the moisture and extend down overlap bottom flashing. So this is why we are providing weep hole. This is a foundation wall. So weep hole should be provided in between foundation wall to cavity wall. So this is one example, which is a live example present in Jaipur, built in 2005 in an exposed bricks house with a cavity wall, two brick and mortar walls having a gap of 4 inches in between. For the strength of both walls have been tied at regular interval by placing 5 mm S-shaped rod, metal ties in S shape, giving the outer wall strength of a normal 9-inch one. What is the advantage of cavity wall? There is no possibility of the moisture traveling from the outer wall to the inner wall. That is very important. And layer of air in the cavity being non-conductor of the heat and reduces transmission of heat from external face to internal wall. And this acts as a damp barrier, reduces the cooling cost of the building. Economy, a 275 mm cavity wall costs less to construct than 328 mm solid wall. This is more economical than other types of the wall. Cheaper than the exterior or interior wall insulation. Maintains existing wall thickness. Minimal disruption to install. It is very easy to install. Can reduce the condensation. Disadvantage: cavity wall were first built in exposed coastal area in order to keep out wind driven rain. Filling the cavity with the insulation will always hold the risk that moisture will be able to find its way across to the inside. So we can avoid insulation material. Whatever insulation material can be used, but it is more riskier if you are using insulation material. And there is some possibility of cold spot on the inside wall, which will attract the condensation. Another problem: wall ties corrosion. The corrosion may take place. So cavity insulation makes the outer brick leaf colder, but that it should be better always. So wall ties will accelerate rusting easily. So that is one disadvantage. Thermal bridging problem may take place. Thickness of the insulation is restricted by the width of the cavity only. Whatever width you have provided, so thickness of the insulation should be restricted. And UK is given it is not suitable due to their exposure. There are significant number of buildings with the mortar dropping ties with the cavity, which result in penetrating dampness. Settlement and saturation of cavity will leading to cold bridging. Thank you.